Alright, this is what we're going to need here to make the bucket. You'll need an 11/32 drill bit. It's got to be this exactly, or else these aren't going to thread on properly. These are called poultry nipples. They're available in the link below this video. Something to tighten those with, and then you'll need some adhesive caulk. I don't think it really matters exactly that it's this stuff specifically, but you want it to be indoor outdoor because these are presumably going to be used for a while outside. Alright, and then you'll also need a drill, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out of there. I marked this bucket out ahead of time. Oh, you know, before I get started, let me just show you how these things work here. So it kind of works on the same premise that like a guinea pig or like a rabbit feeder would do. There's a little bit of a ball bearing in there. I'm going to just unscrew this to show you what's up in there. So when the chicken pecks this, it lifts this ball, which leaves a little bit of a gap then for water to get by, and as soon as the chicken lets go, the ball fills that gap again. So I think the manufacturer here says you can't hook these up to a high pressure hose for that reason, because if the high pressure is pushing against that ball, then the chicken's not going to be able to push this to lift it out of its socket thing kind of in there. Alright, so I marked out this bucket ahead of time. The manufacturer of these recommends 2 to 3 per bird, but honestly I would estimate at the lower end of that. You're not usually going to see several birds drinking at the same time here, so I would say 2 per bird is good. And it doesn't really matter placement on the bucket, I don't think, but you don't want to be putting them on the lettering or any of this raised stuff, because I don't think it's going to make a real nice seal then. So space them out so they're not on that. I'm going to get my drill bit in here. Alright, so the main thing here, first off, make sure that your drill bit is going in perpendicular. If it goes in at an angle like that, you're going to create an opening that's bigger than these threads. And the second thing is, make sure you go kind of slow. You don't want to just push down on this as hard as you can. You want a nice clean hole here. And I just did that a little bit afterwards to clean it out a little bit. Let me see if I can get this little guy here. Alright, I'm not too worried about that. I might see if I can get it with an X-Acto blade then, but I'll just keep going now. It does tend to bite a little bit. It goes in pretty slowly and then it wants to grab all of a sudden. Alright, so that one went actually a little bit cleaner than the first one. I think maybe the first one I did just press a little bit too hard. Alright, that actually looks okay. Let me just see if I can get this other junk off of here. Alright, I just used the backside of the razor here just to try to clean off the burrs a little bit. That seemed to work out okay. The cleaner the better though. Alright, so now I'm going to take just a little bit of adhesive caulk here and put it, you know what, I'm going to actually stick it on a sheet of paper here, so it might come out kind of crappy at first. And then I can just use my finger and get a good amount on there. This stuff was sitting in the basement and it's so cold, it's hard. But that should work. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit on the thread here of this. I'm not sure that you even have to do this. The manufacturer recommends that you do. It's just going to make sure that it creates a real good seal inside of there. Alright, so I'll do that one. Alright, now, like I said before, with the drill bit, you got to make sure that this goes in straight. You're really going to have one chance to do this, because the plastic on here is going to create plastic threads in the bucket now. So just push it in, make sure it's going in straight. You'll feel it start to take after a little bit here. And then just tighten it as far as you can go with your fingers here. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit more of this on here. You can also use plumber's tape, it says. I like this because it seems like it's going to get less bunchy on there. Sometimes the plumber's tape wants to, like, well, yeah, bunch together. Alright, so again here, just make sure it's going in straight. Alright, now the tendency is to want to really crank down on this till you can't move it anymore, but you can't do that because there's not going to be any threads left on the poultry nipple or the bucket if you do that. So just get it as tight as you can, and then even just an extra turn or so. It's really not going to get any tighter then. I'm going to put a little bit of this caulk around the seal at the very bottom of the nut here too, just to make sure that it's on there good and tight. Yeah, it's not like the manufacturer recommends that you don't do this. It's just, this is an extra layer of protection, I feel like. So anyway, I want to do that. I'll clean it up then. In my other video, I created I like kind of made a pipe to fill this with. Whatever you do, you got to make sure that it's sealed off nicely, because if a piece of dirt, I should have mentioned this when I had the poultry nipple open, but if a piece of dirt gets stuck between that little ball and the socket it's supposed to fit into, then the ball's not going to completely go down into there, and it could potentially drip. So the solution there is, yeah, just make sure you get a bucket with a tight lid and make sure that there's not any junk getting down in your bucket. You might be tempted to fill this with the downspout water, but again, you got to make sure that it's nice and clean, so you got to at least filter it before it gets in there. Alright, so that should be good then, and I'll just turn this onto its side. So yeah, like I said, the chicken is going to peck this guy, and that should be good. We're just going to wait for it to dry for a little bit, but yeah, these are available in the link down below, and eventually I'll also have a link with the drill bit. But yeah, check it out down there, and if this video is helpful, please like it and subscribe. Thank you. We'll see it.